Here's what's happening now. Not the brightest day out there, but it could be one of our warmest. We'll look at a big cool down coming up in the 7-day forecast. Carrie?
All right, thank you, Ben. Also, first at 4, a new immigration ban. The Trump administration is making some changes to a controversial policy. Paula.
Hi, Karen. Yeah, and that policy, while it doesn't take effect now, it's just in a window to trap a local father from his wife and children. We'll have that story, Karen.
Up first, breaking news. A big police response after a suspicious man is spotted in an Auburn Hills neighborhood. The story behind all of this. Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Karen Drew. That police situation in Auburn Hills is our top story this Monday afternoon. The man surrendering less than an hour ago. It all started when a resident reported a suspicious man walking around the neighborhood, knocking on doors. Police say they stopped him, but he ran away into a home, refusing to come out. At one point, our Grant Graham Elementary School was on lockdown. Luckily, the suspect did surrender, and he is in custody right now. We have a crew on the scene gathering more information, and our coverage continues on Local 4 News at 5. Also, first at 4, President Donald Trump is trying a new travel ban, hoping to avoid the controversy and legal setbacks that greeted his first attempt. The president signed an executive order today that shuts down the U.S. refugee program and bars new travel from 6 mainly Muslim countries. This time, Iraq has been left off the list, but Syria, Somalia, Sudan, Yemen, Libya, and Iran are still included. This version stops new visas, so people with existing documents will be allowed into the country. The Trump administration says the 90-day ban is needed to improve security.
While no system can be made completely infallible, the American people can have high confidence we are identifying ways to improve the vetting process and thus keep terrorists from entering our country.
You probably recall the angry reaction to the first travel ban signed in January. Protesters swamped airports and a flurry of legal challenges were filed. Paula Tutman's at Metro Airport this afternoon, where she found people supporting the new ban. One man worried about its impact on his family. Paula?
Hi, Karen. Yeah, it's, of course, and that's when a plane goes by, so hopefully you can hear me. Yeah, you did mention that Iraq is now left off that list. There's another difference, and that is this travel ban doesn't take effect for another 10 days. And so basically what they want to do is give Customs a chance to get its footing, understand what's involved in this travel ban so you don't have that huge mess that you had with the very first one. So this is kind of the revised version, but it still happens in a window just in time to strand a local traveler from his wife and 2 sons. Hafed Hassan sits at Metro Airport awaiting his flight to New York. To pass the time, he scrolls through the pictures of his family on his phone. He misses them. He came to the United States 20 years ago, loved the freedom, loved the ability to work, loves his country, became a citizen. But with the revised travel ban, he believes his president is separating him from his wife, Hakama, and his 2 sons, Ayman and Sagar. He filled out paperwork for them to join him 3 months ago, and now they sit in that not-so-sweet spot of Yemeni nationals, no longer welcome in this country for now.
I'm waiting for them, and we see what's going on.
Do you think they'll be able to get in?
I'm going to try, I'm going to see. I don't think so now. They say we have to wait 90 days, but we will see. We will wait 90 days, and we will see what happens after.
Many of his fellow travelers feel for his situation and people from the 6 mostly Muslim countries whose citizens are temporarily banned from entering the United States as refugees or with visas.
I don't think it's a good idea. I think we have a lot of securities in place now that should take care of the problems that have been in the past. And I think it's a form of segregation.
But there are also many fellow travelers who feel the temporary ban is the right way to go.
And if that's what we have to do to keep safe here, you know, some good folks that would never do anything are going to take a little bit of a back seat, you know, and I think that's fair.
Osama Siblani, publisher of the Arab American News in Dearborn, says this is a top story in his newspaper because it personally affects so many of his readers and the entire community as a whole.
Donald Trump has attacked everyone but himself and his family, and I believe that the more he issues, the more executive orders he issues, the more he opens his mouth, the more people are going to be on our side. So in one way or another, I'd like to thank Donald Trump for bringing half of America, more than half of America, to our side.
I'll tell you something else that Blani told me, and that was that there is a legion of people who are waiting in the wings to file lawsuits and challenge this revised travel ban in court. They did it before, they were successful. They believe they will be successful again, Karen.
All right, thank you, Paula, reporting live at Detroit's Metro Airport. Moving now to Highland Township, where a local business is devastated after a fire gutted an auto parts store. This is what was left of the Napa Auto Parts on North Milford Road around 7 o'clock this morning. The fire started about 5, burned for 2 hours. The business was closed, so no one was hurt. Police are still trying to figure out exactly what caused the blaze. A 41-year-old man from Commerce Township is dead after he was hit by an ambulance. Police say the ambulance was driving on Telegraph Road around 5 o'clock this morning when the man darted in front of the truck. The driver reportedly tried to brake but couldn't stop in time. Police are now trying to figure out whether the man purposely jumped in front of that truck. A witness says the victim was hit by another car less than an hour before. Time now for our first look at the forecast. Happy Monday to you, Ben.
You too, Karen. You know, it's not the brightest out there. We've got a lot of low clouds that are hanging out. We've seen a couple drops out there, but we're going to stay mainly dry through the nighttime hours. Temperatures in the 50s and really not going to fall that far as we get into our overnight lows, maybe a couple degrees, and then we'll start bouncing up again as we get into tomorrow. So this is about as low as we're going to get here for our noon, or I should say our midnight temperature at 53. Stray sprinkle not out of the question, but another round of rain that we're going to be tracking for tomorrow morning could be coming with some thunder and may have an impact on your drive to work. We'll look at that in a few minutes. Karen?
President Donald Trump has been silent today on the shocking claims he made over the weekend that former President Obama bugged the phones at Trump Tower. The FBI and Democrats are pushing for more information. Jason Colthorpe is following this controversy in our newsroom. So, Jason, what's happening right now at the FBI?
Yeah, let's start there, Karen. A senior U.S. official tells NBC News that FBI Director James Comey has asked the Justice Department to publicly denounce President Trump's allegations, who, as you know, had a very busy weekend on Twitter, releasing a series of tweets claiming President Obama bugged the phones at Trump Tower during the election. So far, the White House has not produced any specific evidence or explained why President Trump made those claims. NBC is reporting the FBI wants those allegations knocked down, but neither the FBI or the Justice Department is commenting. James Clapper, the former director of the National Intelligence Agency, says there was no wiretapping while he was in office. Democrats are questioning Mr. Trump's credibility here, while one supporter tells CNN she's giving him the benefit of the doubt right now.
If there was a wiretap, I'm sure that we will get to the bottom of it. I think it'll be put out there that we will get some clarification on it.
Donald Trump dedicated years of his life to running around our country claiming that President Obama wasn't born in the United States without a shred of evidence, and immediately after his election claimed that millions of people voted illegally.
To date, the White House hasn't produced any specific evidence of the voter fraud either. In fact, the White House saying it's not going to be commenting publicly. Republicans in Congress say the president's allegations of wiretapping will be reviewed as part of their investigation into Russian influence on the presidential election. We'll keep you posted every step of what seems to be a very long journey. Karen?
Very true. All right. Thank you, Jason. We are following other stories today making headlines all across America. Let's start with a U.S. Supreme Court decision on transgender teenager's case. He's fighting to use the boys' bathroom at his Virginia high school. Today, the High Court decided not to hear the case brought by Gavin Grimm, born a girl, but now identifying as a male. That means a lower court in Virginia will evaluate the federal law known as Title IX to determine how it applies to transgender students. The decision follows the Trump administration's decision to end President Obama's directive that allowed students to use the bathroom matching their gender identity. The Defense Department is investigating a shocking case involving a website that posted naked photos of women Marines and other service members. A private Facebook group called Marines United had almost 30,000 followers. A U.S. defense official says a Google Drive folder stored potentially hundreds of explicit photos of current and former female Marines. The Naval Criminal Investigative Service has now opened a probe into those photos. During the tax season, many of you might have nightmares about being audited. Still ahead, while you might just sleep a little easier this year. Also, what's age got to do with it? Tennis star Venus Williams looking to add another big accomplishment to her legendary record. Good afternoon, Doc.
Afternoon, Karen. In Good Health, new research on breast cancer and your diet. We have a second opinion on a specific food the cancer patients have been warned to avoid. I'll explain next.
Coming up all new on Local 4 News at 5 and 6.
They're the biggest scams right here in Michigan, some costing people big money. I'll reveal the list just released by the Attorney General coming up in my Help Me Hank report.
All right, thank you, Hank. Let's talk good health. New evidence today shows dietary soy is safe and perhaps even beneficial for some women with breast cancer. Dr. Frank McGeorge joins us. This is very interesting because we always hear soy and a lot of people have been avoiding it from other studies.
That's exactly it. Well, in fact, past research has suggested that soy does increase the risk of cancer. So many women are told to avoid these products. But a Tufts University study of over 6,000 breast cancer patients found soy foods were not harmful. In fact, women who consumed the most soy had a 21% lower risk of death than those who consumed the least. Now, of note, though, the decrease in death risk was largely confined to women with hormone receptor negative tumors and women that were not treated with anti-estrogen therapy.
So, proceeding forward with that, is there things that you would recommend to change then or not in your diet? Because sometimes people don't know those receptors.
Well, you know, there's a lot about soy that's actually still pretty negative. That is, you know, it can affect a lot of other parts of your hormone and body system. So I think the jury is largely still out on soy, and there's a lot more that needs to be investigated. But at least as far as the breast cancer risk, this does shed a little bit more light on it.
Okay, let's talk about the other study. We're talking about social media and how sometimes people feel lonely. And it's all to do with how much they're on social media.
Right, and as you might expect, this study actually involved 19 to 32-year-olds who filled out questionnaires about the time that they spent on the 11 most popular social media sites. Well, in total, 1,800 young adults responded. And those who spent over 2 hours a day on social media, well, they were twice as likely to feel isolated than those who spent less than a half an hour on these sites. Also, people who checked their accounts at least 58 times a week had triple the odds of feeling lonely than infrequent users. Now, part of the issue, of course, is social media often replaces face-to-face interactions, and it can lead to jealousy and sort of a distorted belief that others are leading happier lives. And I think the message here is you need to keep some perspective on it and realize social media is not necessarily the real world. It's the world that other people are painting of themselves.
Right, to make it look picture perfect. And don't check your social media 8 times a day.
No, that's a little compulsive.
Oh my goodness.
I'll say that. Sorry.
All right. Thank you, Doc. We are headed into mid-March, but here is a reminder, winter is not over. Take a look at this snow covering the mountains over in Northern California. A weekend weather system brought snow and hail to the area outside of San Jose. The new snow is covering the Sierra Mountains, where ski resorts are already enjoying near record snow totals for the season. Here, though, man, we did not get much of a snow season for our local skiers. You feel horrible for them.
It's hard to remember the last time you were out shoveling a driveway.
I know, or make a snowman or any of that stuff.
It's
been a while.
This may be one of the warmest start to the week. We will get some cooler air in here. The snow is going to be a little bit harder to come by, though, and we'll get to that in a second. Everything that you see on Fort Live radar, of course, is rain. It's pretty light, what we've got out there right now, and just a couple sprinkles running through St. Clair County out towards the lake. As those exit, we're going to be generally dry tonight, but we are going to keep a lot of clouds around, and you can pretty much see that as you look over the riverfront right now. 55 is the temperature outside. Winds are out of the south at 8. Not really one of our faster wind speeds that we're expecting here for the next couple days. Those are going to increase both tomorrow and especially as we get into Wednesday. A lot of moisture down to the south. Good flow coming in out of the southwest. Most of this is going to miss us. You'll see as we get through the nighttime hours, it's really going to be just sort of bubbling up at spots. So we'll call it a stray sprinkle overnight. Most of the nighttime hours should be dry, but we get closer to daybreak tomorrow. This is going to be right in the heart of the morning commute. Showers and maybe even a couple rumbles of thunder thunder out there too. That's going to be part of the drive in tomorrow. Cold front will sweep through as we get into the later parts of the day, and it's going to come through mainly dry. A lot of those sprinkles will be a little bit further north, but behind that breezy conditions, and we'll see wind gusts tomorrow that are going to grab your attention. We'll look at that in your 4-zone forecast. This is tomorrow afternoon, and remember, these are gusts. These are not temperatures. A wind gust of about 25 to 30 miles an hour here in our metro zone. South zone, we'll see those wind gusts getting up to 30, especially down here near the state line. West zone, not a whole lot different. Those wind gusts will be pretty much the same, maybe slightly higher here towards Milford, Clarkston, Fenton. And in our north zone tomorrow, you'll be one of the last to see that cold front come through, but you're still going to see some of those wind gusts a little bit higher behind that front. You can see out here parts of Lapeer and also Sanilac counties. Forecast lows tonight, really not far from where we're at right now. We told you that at the top of the broadcast, 53, and that's likely going to be probably about midnight or so. And then we'll see those numbers sneak upwards just a little bit towards tomorrow morning. We'll start in the mid-50s. We'll see our high temperatures somewhere between noon and 4. Probably in the low 60s in spots, and then the clouds break up, but the winds pick up too. So tomorrow is going to be breezy. Wednesday is going to be very windy. That's when we're expecting wind gusts of up to 40 miles an hour at times. And as the winds go up, the temperatures go down. 45 for that high temperature Wednesday. We'll be back to the 30s for high temperatures going into Friday. And then, of course, Saturday and Sunday, 30s for highs as well, barely above freezing here on Saturday afternoon. Don't forget to spring forward. Daylight saving time starts Saturday night before you go to bed, Karen.
Love it. All right. Thank you, Ben. First, everyone was waiting for baby bald eagles to hatch. Then the world started waiting for April, the giraffe, to give birth. Well, now one woman is poking fun at that obsession. Wait until you see her video. It is going viral this afternoon. Up first, no one wants their taxes audited, but there is a multi-billion-dollar problem when the IRS can't check your returns. But first, as we go to break, here's a look at how the markets have closed for the day. Mostly down, as you see. As we head into the heart of tax season, there is some good news and some bad news about getting audited. The chances you might face an audit are actually getting lower and lower. The IRS says it's lost 17,000 employees since 2010, so there's just simply not enough people to do the audits. Now, what's the bad news? Well, the IRS says the government is losing between $4 and $8 billion each year in uncollected taxes. Also, in today's trending stories on our Monday, people are talking about tennis superstar Venus Williams. She's telling CNN she would like to compete for the U.S. in the 2020 Olympics in Tokyo. She would be 40 years old and would be playing in her 6th Olympic Games. Venus just made the final of the Australian Open in January, her first Grand Slam final since 2009.
You know, it sounds like old for tennis, but who else do we have, you know?
Oh, that's a good point. But I'm just so impressed that she keeps, every time I think like she's done, she keeps coming back. I mean, she's amazing.
She's doing
I'd love for her to do it. Okay, also, you may have been following our Get Fit for Good series on Facebook here on First and 4. Well, tonight is the night for the 4 people who've been sharing their fitness challenges with you. Their final weigh-ins will happen this evening. Each person had their own reasons for trying to get fit this year, and you can see how they did tomorrow, First at 4. Still ahead, the online world has been waiting and waiting for this giraffe to give birth. Well, now a human mother-to-be is stealing the limelight with her own version of this video. We're going to show it to you next.
You know, we here in Motown have a pretty good understanding of the basic skill set it takes to design and build a car.
With 10 pages on this idea, it actually turned into 5 different ideas. They separated it because there were 5 different novel aspects of it. And so I was able to file about 5 ideas just based off my first idea.
And you would expect that it would include the ability to do what I'm doing right now. But it turns out that's not the case. How does this possibly work? We'll have the incredible story for you tonight on Local 4 News at 11.
Finally, First at 4, a mom-to-be posted a video that's going viral with her spoof of April the giraffe.
Erin Dietrich of South Carolina is 39 weeks pregnant with her 4th kid. Her baby's actually due next week. Now, in case you have not heard, April is a real giraffe and she is expected to give birth at the Animal Adventure Park in New York.
Well, meantime, people have been watching a live camera and waiting for the big event. Well, now Erin's spoof is now burning up the internet with more than 4 million views and counting. Now, I just wonder, she's the mom of, going to be mom of 4, so those other 3 kids at home, they've got to be embarrassed moms doing that, don't you think?
Yeah, especially when they get to school. I'm worried that kid's going to come out. She does squash.
She was. She's 39 weeks. Oh, thanks so much for joining us. First to 4, we're back at a half hour with Local 4 News at 5. Inside Edition is next.